Every kid wants to go to Bible camp or horse camp or soccer camp, but you know the camp they don't want to go to? Obedience camp. And that's the one they're going to. Creeping myself out a little bit. If you were guaranteed to see a significant change in your child's attitude and in their behavior, plus a decrease in your own mom frustration, would you do it? Would you send them to obedience camp? Well, yes, Greg, I think I would. Heck yes, sign me up. Where's this obedience camp? No one is offering that this summer, and I've looked. But this is a camp that you can do yourself with a little bit of time, a little bit of effort and intention, and a lot of patience. But it works. Hello, everyone. I am Danielle. I am a homeschooling mother of 7, and I have all the personalities. Right now, I have 6 children in camp, 3 in the capacity of counselor and 3 as campers. This leaves me with 1 fiery, wily 4-year-old. Before you are a parent, you got a lot of things figured out. I was the oldest of 6 kids. I went in this thinking, I can do this. This can't be that difficult. Having well-behaved kids can't be that hard. And if I had just stuck with 1, I probably would have stayed in my condescending, know-it-all attitude. But my second came along. And he cured me of a lot of pride. And then number 5, also a big cure there. And you know, parenting requires consistency. There are 3 things that happen to a mom during this period of child raising. You get busy, you get tired, and you get overwhelmed. Busyness keeps us from having those consistent battles throughout the week because you don't have time for your child to react badly to something you've asked them to do. Have that teaching moment. You tell them to get their shoes on and they don't. You grab their shoes because you've got places to be. And then there's mom fatigue, and fatigue makes us lazy. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's relentless. When you are up with a newborn in the night and then you have a toddler you're trying to teach how to make good choices, sometimes you just want to sit on the couch and not follow through. I just don't have the emotional fortitude to have any battles today. And then there's being overwhelmed by the duties and the responsibilities and the unexpected.
And the chores and the tantrums.
And you start feeling like you could never possibly recover. Today I'm going to give you 6 steps of obedience camp. This isn't a camp you spend 7 hours doing, but if you have a half an hour, if you have 45 minutes to spend with your child in obedience camp, you will not regret it. Number 1 is communication. Now this varies with the age of the child. My child's 4, so my communication is very simple. I'm going to lay out what I expect her to do.
Then we are at an impasse. I'm afraid so.
You obey right away, all the way, and with a good attitude. And then I give her something very definite. All right, so when I ask you to do something, I want you to respond with, okay, mom, or yes, mama, or any of the above. With older children, it might look like going through the scriptures and saying, you know, the Lord tells us to obey our parents, for this is right. It's right for you to be good listeners and be respectful to your parents. There's a blessing in that. Who do you want to be? You have this opportunity to shape who you are, your responses, your attitude. Who do you want to be? But I think the very simplest way to do obedience camp is with young children, 2 to 6, 2 to 7. Number 2 is rehearsal. And you can make this as fun and as entertaining as you want, because camp should be fun. Although oftentimes I am under duress when I decide to do obedience camp because I realize, wow, I've got slack. And this little girl that used to be so pleasant, she's running things. And then I'm like, okay, it's obedience camp time. Rehearsal is like a fire drill. There's no real fire, but you are practicing what you do in this given situation. There's no elevated emotion, no frustration, no intensity. You're just practicing what you just talked about. And I preface what I say to her with, okay, are you ready to practice? All right, Darcy, can you please go pick up that shoe? Now, what do you say? Yes, Mom. And she runs and does it, and we high five, and we're like, woo, woo, good job. Let's try it again. Let's try a harder one. And then you just kind of rehearse, and you start doing that. And when I'm in obedience camp mode, I will do this throughout the morning. If we're spending a whole morning or a whole day at home and it's just the 2 of us, it's a really valuable time. The 3rd is real life practice. It's not a drill. I ask her to do something that I need her to do, like get her shoes on or clean up her toys. But because this is kind of new, I first remind her of what she needs to say when she is asked to do a task. Now, I don't know how you do this, but when they're young, I kindly remind them that they are not to ask why until after they've done the task, because why is just a ploy. All it is a stall. Older kids know that after they've completed the task, if they still want to know why, they can ask to know why. Most of the time, they know why. The 4th point here is the battle plan. You as a parent need to know what you're going to do when they choose not to obey. After you've done the communication, after you've done the rehearsal, and you've had the real life practice, what am I gonna do when they decide to flatly refuse? They're not doing it. With my little girl, I have a chair. If she decides to have a tantrum, throw herself on the floor, flatly refuse, or tell me that I'm weird, the worst thing that they can possibly think to say to their mom, or weird, then I walk her to the chair and say she has to remain in that chair until she's ready to obey or she's done with her tantrum. Getting a child to stay in the chair is very difficult if you aren't swatting them when they get out of the chair, and so they actually know that this is the parameter. Don't get out until you're ready to behave yourself. But you can also just have the battle where they know they cannot go back to their plane if they don't do as requested. Parenting is the most rewarding endeavor. It is a purpose beyond purposes. We as moms are uniquely designed to carry this, I don't want to say burden, but it is, this burden of mothering. It's a joyful and amazing responsibility. But the truth is, when you have children who are not listening good, who are rebellious and defiant and hard to bring in public, it is not a pleasure. Recognizing that if we take some steps in these areas, parenting all the ages can become a pleasure, a sweet, sweet, delightful time. If you are not enjoying your children's behavior, if they are not a pleasure to be around, other people aren't going to enjoy it either. Number 5, asking when it's hard. All right, so this is where you've gone from your rehearsals and you've gone into your real life practice, and now you are out of the blue, when it's difficult, asking your child to do something when they're in the middle of a game. This is after they've practiced for days, guys. It doesn't seem fair. You know what? It's not always going to be fair when you ask your children to do something. And for us as parents to always think it has to be fair, we're not doing our children a service there. There are plenty of times in life where we have to drop what we're doing and we have to respond to something. I do often let them know, I'm going to ask you to do something. Remember what we've been practicing. So they're in the middle of a game and you say, hey, Darcy, go get your shoes on, please. And then you give them a prompt. If they don't right away say, okay, mom, encouraging all the way. Just you be the biggest cheerleader to every success they have. Because we as moms, we love them all the time, but I'm going to celebrate their victories. I'm going to celebrate the victories they have over the baser parts of their nature. I'm going to celebrate every time they say no to selfishness, every time they're kind, anytime they're sweet. So finally, you go out on a field trip. It's parenting in public. You go to the grocery store or you go to Starbucks. Then you practice the little things, but you do it in public. You and your child have this camaraderie that you're working towards a specific goal of remembering to say yes, ma'am, remembering to be a good, responsive listener, and then celebrate all those victories. I hope you try obedience camp this summer. It's never too late and it's never too early to practice good habits. Remember, all my mamas out there, no one can mom your kids like you. And if you don't know what else to watch, watch this next video. It's just a little encouragement.